Hello, everyone, and welcome to another short video on our own devices. I'm Jean Messier, and today I'm at 17 Wing in Winnipeg, having a look at a fascinating piece of World War II survival equipment. This is what is known as a Kit Emergency Personnel Mark 1A, or Survival Bandolier, and this was issued to RAF and RCAF airmen starting in 1943. Now, prior to this, emergency equipment such as survival rations and life rafts were typically stored separate from the aircrew. So when it came time to bail out or ditch an aircraft, the crew often didn't have time to recover that equipment, leading it to becoming lost. So this was introduced so that each individual airman would have at least some emergency equipment on their person at all times. Now, before we open this up and find out what sort of equipment would have been carried in this bandolier, as you can imagine, finding the information for these videos requires me to scour some of the more remote corners of the web, potentially exposing me to online risk. Thankfully, I always make use of a virtual private network, like the sponsor of this video, NordVPN. NordVPN is the fastest and most secure VPN on the market, masking your IP address and encrypting your data to protect you from online threats such as malware and trackers. Built-in threat protection informs you of any vulnerabilities in your apps, while NordVPN's dark web monitor informs you if any of your data or credentials have been leaked online. Even more useful, the kill switch feature automatically disables your internet connection if your VPN connection fails, preventing your IP address and data from being exposed for even a millisecond. But NordVPN is far more than just a security tool, allowing you to access online content that might be blocked in your home country. So, for example, if you set your virtual IP address to somewhere in the UK, you can access shows on Netflix and other streaming platforms that might be unavailable in Canada or the US. NordVPN comes as a dedicated app for all major platforms, with one account protecting up to 6 devices. The service comes with 24/7 customer service and a 30-day money-back guarantee. To get 4 months off a 2-year plan, visit nordvpn.com/ourowndevices and start browsing safer today. Anyway, back to the video. Right, so here are the contents of the emergency kit, at least those items which have survived. So starting at the front, we have our survival knife, which has 2 blades and a marlin spike. We have a tin of RCAF ointment sunscreen number 5, very important if you're in an open life raft for days on end. We have an emergency whistle, which is made out of Bakelite so that it doesn't freeze the airman's lips in cold weather. We have a tube of hexamine tablets for a little portable stove, although this hasn't survived with this particular kit. We have a mosquito net to fit over the airman's head. Then we have 4 prepackaged emergency kits, including a medical kit type A, which contains roll bandage, plaster, adhesive, safety pins, morphine capsules, antiseptic ointment, eye ointment, and gauze dressing. We have a package of emergency aids type A, which should contain matches, fishing tackle, and needles and thread. In this case, only the matches have survived, and they're in a wax-covered box for waterproofing. We have our emergency rations A, and unfortunately, this one has been rather picked apart by mice in storage, though there are a couple of items left, including a heliograph or signal mirror. Now, since this is still sealed up and covered in chocolate, I'm not going to open this up, but I do have another example of one of these emergency heliographs that we'll look at in a future video. And then finally, we have our B emergency rations, which consists of 2 sets of emergency crackers, a stick of gum, and 4 packets of emergency chocolate. And as the text on the front says, this kit will provide you with food for 1 day and a half, eat 2 biscuits and 1 chocolate bar per meal, having 4 meals in a day and a half. Chewing gum to be used as desired. And chewing gum was often included in emergency rations because the act of chewing it gave your mouth something to do and helped ward off hunger in between actual meals. Now, unlike a lot of the items that I cover on this channel, this one actually has a known provenance, having once belonged to Flying Officer George Coho. Now, Coho was born in Clear Springs, Manitoba in 1912, and he joined the RCAF in May 1940. Now, he originally served as an instructor at No. 10 Service Flying School in Dauphin before being transferred to No. 7 Bomber Reconnaissance Squadron. And for most of his service, he flew a variety of aircraft, including the Blackburn Shark, the Supermarine Stranraer, and the consolidated PBY Catalina, or the Canadian version, the Canso, on anti-submarine patrols off Canada's west coast. Now, he was eventually transferred against his wishes to the No. 3 Operational Training Unit in Patricia Bay, British Columbia, where he was tasked with training a new generation of Canso pilots. And in August 1945, he was awarded the Air Force Cross, which is awarded to officers and warrant officers for acts of valor, courage, and devotion to duty, not in the face of the enemy. And this emergency kit was donated to 17 Wing by Coho's family following his death in November 1973. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. I'll see you next time on another video where we'll look at yet more fascinating devices just like this. Until then, I'm Jin Messi from Our Own Devices. Have a great day.